the line. I'm going to go through and have y'all introduce yourselves first. So Betty Chen, I believe, is alphabetically first. No?
Betty?
JC, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, well, at least we got JC. All right, I know you at least. So why don't you introduce yourself first?
All right, my name's JC. I go to the University of Guelph. I just finished my 3rd year in the Hotel and Food Administration program for my BCom.
Thank you very much. Juan Cordova.
Excuse me, this is Betty. Can you hear me?
Yes, Betty. Hello.
Hi.
Well, you can introduce yourself to us. You're first, second now.
Okay. Hi, my name is Betty Chen, and I'm from the San Jose State University.
Very good. Welcome, Betty. Juan, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right.
I'm Juan Cordova. I'm from Sarasota, Florida, and I go to the University of South Florida.
Ah, the Jihan School.
That's right.
Yeah. Kevin Gabrielli. Not on for speaking, I believe. Kevin, are you there?
No, it doesn't look like he has access to the...
Access. Okay. Well, we welcome you, Kevin, because I believe you can hear us still. Maria?
Hello, my name is Maria. I'm going to the University of Houston, Conrad and Hilton College. I finished my 3rd year, and I'm vice president for HFTP Cougar chapter.
Great. My school, University of Houston. Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
And Niazi?
Yep.
How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
You sound good.
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm from Sarasota, Florida as well, from University of South Florida.
All right. Very good. Welcome.
Thank you.
Well, my name is Justin Tyone, and can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll introduce my... Yep.
Oh, my name is Mary Lim. I don't know if I showed up on the attendance list.
There you are. I see you on here. Well, welcome, Mary Lynn.
All right, thank you.
Well, my name is Justin Tyone, and I have the dubious honor of being, I believe, the only 10-year student member. I am no longer a student member. I'm now a professor at the University of Guelph in Ontario. But when I was doing my undergraduate degree at University of Houston, I became a member back in 1999 and stayed a member as I made my way through my undergrad, master's, and PhD. So in all that time, I've been to approximately 12 conferences. I was trying to add it up. I think 12 as a student. That includes Leadership Summit, HFTP Annual Conference, and HITEC. And every year, HITEC is a little bit different. Sometimes we have different groups of people. Sometimes we're going to have where groups hang out a lot together, get to know each other, and 10 years later, they're still good friends. And sometimes we have groups who show up, maybe don't maximize the experience, and if you're not maximizing the experience, you know, that's not a good thing. So I'm going to try to help everyone maximize that experience by doing something like this ahead of time, where we're going to be discussing things, getting you guys to know each other, making sure you're aware of what kind of thing you're walking into. So first I wanted to make sure you all knew HFTP. I know that some of you probably think it's funny that someone attending might not know what it is, but some of us are, you know, 2nd, 3rd-year students. We've done well in a class, and then a professor sends us off. In all honesty, I did not know a whole lot about HFTP when I went to my first conference, so don't feel bad. Basically, HFTP is the premier global professional association for members in the hospitality industry. We really do focus on the people who are technology-oriented or finance-oriented. If you're getting into the hotel industry, if you're getting into the country club industry, and you don't know a lot about both of those, you're probably in trouble anyway. So this is, in my opinion, the perfect organization for really any student. whether you want to stay in the only finance role or not. It's going to keep telling me to upgrade, isn't it? There we go. All right. The next thing I want to talk about was some of the HFTP events. I know for a fact from speaking to a lot of students who are working something like this in HITEC that you haven't necessarily, not only have you not attended these, you don't even know they exist. So I want to make sure you know these exist. First, monthly meetings. I have actually taken to now when I travel, I love my HFTP family, and when I travel to places like Seattle, New Orleans, quite a few places in Florida, Houston, I actually end up attending the local HFTP chapter meetings, even if I'm not a member of that meeting. They're always receptive, and I've gotten to know a lot of people through attending so many conferences. This is a tight-knit group, and you really are going to be welcomed when you travel, when you're in any city. If you're ever moving from one city to another, just show up to the event, and they're going to love to have you. So the monthly meetings, the vast majority of them, almost all of them, occur on the third Thursday of every month. Hopefully your advisor at whatever of the 22 schools you're at that have a student chapter are filling you in about these the monthly meetings. I know a place like Houston or here in Guelph, like I'm going to make sure people know here. Agnes DeFranco or Tanya, make sure people know there. I'm sure Jihan and Gunja are doing a good job in South Florida, but I don't know, where all of your schools are located, how involved your advisor is. The next thing is HITEC, which is what you're going to be attending, and so we'll get into that in a second. I want to talk about Annual Convention and Leadership Summit. HITEC is going to have like 9,000 people attending. It doesn't matter if you're in HFTP or not. There are so many thousands of people. We will basically shut down the entire area of downtown LA around the Staples Center. You won't be able to go anywhere in that region without being a part of HFTP's HITEC. But not everyone at HITEC is an HFTP member. In fact, very few are. I find that the number is probably sitting around 600 or 700 people are HFTP members out of those 9,000 people at HITEC. That would be my guess. Does that sound about right, Daly?
Yes, that does.
Daly. Yeah. There we go. So annual convention is when we all get together that are actual HFTP members. So next October, we're going to be meeting in New Orleans. And as a part of that is something called Leadership Summit, which is a 2-day affair, mostly for newbies, but also for people who maybe need to re-energize or get to know more about the organization. Maybe they haven't for 10 years really been in a leadership role. I think it's an excellent place for students to go to meet lots and lots of professionals who are dedicated to the organization. So hopefully I'll see you guys in New Orleans for annual convention leadership. For those who are like at Hong Kong Polytechnic, for example, which is like the middle of the night there, so they're probably not on our call, but the Asian Hospitality Tech Education Conference is quite large over there, and we're there as a part of HFTP. Then once you're later on in life and you have a job and it's post-graduation, you can do things like the Controllers Conference. A lot of webinars are available, and there are a lot more education sessions. We have things like the CHAE, CHTP, which are professional designations, and we want you to know about those now, but take it after you're getting out there in the working world. Those are the things that HFTP offers, and why we want you to know about that before you even get to a place like HITEC and start working. I have seen people who are working at the front desk registering people, and they don't even know what a CHAE is, which that's a Certified Hospitality Accounting Executive. That would be if you're a controller involved in finance. TP, the CHTP, that's for technology professionals. So I wanted to show you some of the good times that we have in HFTP, because when you get there, sure, you're going to show up to your shift, but I really want to make sure that you're going to all of the after-hour events where there is free alcohol. So we're going to be talking about those kinds of things, ensuring you don't embarrass me, Daly, or anyone else, while still maintaining the important membership in all of these things. So here's a picture of Jerry, our current president, and Lyle, who's sitting on the committee. And this was a picture that was taken when we went to the racetrack to bet on horses. It was a lot of fun. It was an official HFTP event. We shut down a large area of this upstairs section and all the free food and that sort of thing. There were maybe 50, 55 of us that showed up to that. There will be, now I'm not sure there's a racetrack next to the Staples Center, but there will be events like this that you can be invited to or that you'll be a part of. Just as an example, last year HITEC was held in Minnesota, and Samsung rented out, I think it were 4 clubs total. They rented out, and 3 of them were in one building. One was across the next door. And they rented out these entire buildings. So it was free alcohol. It was thousands of people inside, all industry professionals. Most of them have the opportunity to hire you if they want to. And it was a great event. Now, the Guelph students were great. I'm sure students were great at all the other schools. But sometimes at an event like that, you get all excited about the free alcohol and start drinking too much. You start drinking too much at a racetrack, and things can go badly for you very quickly. So you got to watch out for that. But I do want you to attend those sorts of things. Here's another one picture. This is a monthly meeting. So one of the things that I worry about with students who are attending HITEC is if you don't know anyone from your local chapter, if you haven't been to professional events, then you don't really get necessarily how to network or what the HFTP is about. To you, this might be more of a free trip, whereas, yeah, I mean, it's great that you're on the trip, but there's so many opportunities there, and we want to make sure you're prepared for the opportunities before you get to the site. So here's what HITEC is. For attendees, everything's offered in one place: education, networking, the latest technology, relationships with industry vendors. So at HITEC, you've got 2 main things occurring. One is there is an exhibition floor, and one is there are people going to the exhibition. The exhibition floor has approximately 780 booths, something along 750 booths, whatever it is. All of those booths are trying to sell something. Now, my guess is none of you are actually going to be purchasing $40,000, $50,000 property management systems. So when they see students, some of them will get a little turned off, and you're not going to get the same experience as someone who's the general manager or a VP or something of like the Jumeirah group. So when you walk around, I really want to make sure you go to the exhibition floor, you learn what you can when you have that time off and you're able to go around. But I don't want you to get discouraged when somebody sees you're a student and doesn't give you the same attention. I have many times been walking the floor and not gotten the same attention. As soon as it shows students, if it shows professors, they also know I'm not going to be spending money at their establishment. Doesn't mean you should walk around and learn what's out there. You can learn a lot at every single one of those booths. It's every new piece of technology. Every piece of technology we use is going to be there. So use that wisely. Here's another picture of an event. So if you go to things like HITEC, you should be bringing your professional clothes and your business clothes, and this is the type of events and locations you'll be going. We also have some fun at night. You'll be scanning badges and then entering once you're done scanning the badges. And there's always a theme. This one, as you can tell, was Mardi Gras. I'm hoping you realize that was Mardi Gras and the masks don't make you think of other things. But we have some dressier affairs, and so I want to make sure you're prepared for that. You can see in the middle there, Al Gallo is actually in a tuxedo. So something to think about if you're so inclined. Just that these are more pictures of the types of events that you'll have access to. We also let loose and have fun. One of the things that the students need to be cognizant of is that you are there to network and be professional. You want to get to know a lot of people, but you don't want to be understood or give off a negative perception. The vast majority of students do well, but every once in a while you'll see a student or two acting in a way that is not appropriate. And unlike other years where maybe I had to pull you off of a tabletop or someone else did, we're giving you the heads up that like dancing on a tabletop is a bad idea. You shouldn't do that. Over drinking, these are bad things. So when you see a party like this, don't just try to follow in the footsteps of others. You want to be the best dressed, best behaved individual in the room. That's your goal. You're the student, and that's how you're going to network successfully. Just more pictures. You can see that's Frank Wolf. That's one of the individuals you should know. He's the gentleman on the far left, and he is the CEO of HFTP. So that's the kind of person who you should be able to recognize and know who that is. More of us having fun. That's me there on the far left. So before you arrive, I want to make sure that you don't get yourself in a bad situation the moment you land at LAX. It is a large, confusing airport that was obviously mismanaged when they were building it. I just remember the last time I was at LAX, it was pouring rain, and I was running in circles through the rain because they don't have terminals connected, trying to figure out where my plane was going to depart from. You do not want to be like me at 1 o'clock in the morning running in circles around LAX getting soaking wet and then sitting on an airplane for 13 hours. That was a horrible flight. So instead, I've got the information for you right here. First, we are 16.5 miles from the hotels from LAX. That is a $55 ride in a taxi. I do not recommend you pay $55. If there are 3 of you arriving together, maybe it makes more sense. What I would say is go with the shuttle service. There's Super Shuttle and Prime Time. I already did all the research for you online. Those are the 2 that are going to be stopping at all the hotels next where all of you are staying, and those are the 2 cheapest ones. They charge only $15 each way for you. They will try to sell you on a $25 or a $28 ticket where it's round trip. I don't recommend that. I've learned in the past that you will possibly meet people while you're there who want to share a ride to the airport. So you'd actually save money by sharing a taxi with them, with 3 other people. You might also meet people where you end up moving your ticket around to attend another event. There are so many things that could come up. So just, to save $3, don't buy that round trip right away. You're stuck on a schedule with those 2 companies. Some airports allow you to buy a round trip and go anytime you want. These 2 companies do not. You're stuck to a schedule. What to wear? The only things you have to bring are business casual and business professional. Anything you bring beyond that is up to you. For example, I highly recommend a swimsuit. I don't see a situation where someone goes to SoCal and doesn't use the swimming pool, but that is not a necessity. So here we have sleeping wear, workout clothes, anything else that you need. But in terms of what you have to bring, it's just those 2. And the next thing, you are not there to go clubbing. And dressing up in business professional is not a black shirt with a black tie with a black suit or a white belt. No white belts. Please, no white belts. Maybe for women those are different. I only understand men's dress. But men, no white belts. We want you, when you get there, to put on a professional in the finance industry kind of thing. It's very conservative. Remember, you're not there to impress your peers. You're there to impress 40, 50-year-old, 60-year-old professionals in the finance industry. They don't want to see someone who's ready to go clubbing. They want to see someone with a crisp, starched white shirt with a solid color or a slightly striped tie in a solid colored suit. That's what they're looking for. Down at the end, I said, be the best dressed in the room. Don't aim to barely get by as acceptable, and always try to be conservative when you're dressed. And then here, Daly wanted to make sure this was really out there. Ladies, shoes, and walking. Once again, we're not there to club. We're not there to only look good, but you have to. But you're going to be doing a lot of walking. And one thing that would not be professional is to start working in no shoes on. We don't want you walking around barefoot behind the desk registering people. That's bad. Therefore, wear comfortable shoes that you can stand up all day in. This brings it to life a little bit more. So you can see what a business professional versus a business casual is. Business professional, in the business casual side, you can wear, let's say, the green shirt. You can get a little bit more. I would say don't bring anything but white shirts. It's just the safest way for a guy to go. Even for girls, you can see when she's wearing a very light-colored shirt, blouse underneath. So that's what we're looking for. When you get on site, this is a picture I took of where you will be working. It will probably look a little bit different, but give or take, this is what you're going to be doing. Every single one of those computers is used to register people. You can see down at the bottom, Katie in the blue shirt is looking at all of the individuals she wants to network with. She worked multiple events. I believe she worked 3 of these HITECs with me. So I got to know her quite well because she attended every networking event she could, and she knew their faces and names ahead of time. It was pretty impressive. So here you can see, if you're pre-registered, we're going to be the people standing back there, printing out. You can see the printer at the bottom. We print out name tags. We register people. It's kind of like checking someone in at the front desk. You're going to have approximately 1 minute to leave an impression on that individual. You want to be outgoing, kind, connect with them. There's a few ways you can connect with people, and I'll get into networking here in a second. But if you do it right, you can ask some funny questions or that make you feel good. The most interesting question I ever got while working a desk at a HITEC was a gentleman came to me. I checked him in. I knew him for no more than 1 minute. And he decided that I should convert to Islam so I could go work for him. He said that he wanted to hire me in Saudi Arabia, and he would only be able to do it if I converted. And I found that to be really interesting. That's a real situation. It really did happen to me, and those are the kinds of questions you may very well get as well. But that's the kind of situation where, you know, if you're doing well, you can get some interesting job offers. Here's me speaking at Leadership Summit last year, but as you see, the way all the tables are designed, there's a big thing at the front. This is the kind of room you're going to be entering into. It'll be set up more classroom style than tables, most likely, but you're going to be walking into a similar setting to this if you go to any of the education sessions. So here's the work schedule. Some of you are going to be working the CHAE and CHTP. So just by knowing what those mean going in, that's a wise thing to do. So hospitality accounting executive and technology professional. These are designations for people in the industry. They work very hard. They study very hard to pass these exams. So if you're going to be working in there, you have this unique opportunity to learn about what it is to be CHAE, what it is to be CHTP. Some of you will be working registration. That was always my favorite in the last few years that I worked this thing, which I stopped working them in, I guess, 2010. When I was working those, that was my favorite to work because you meet so many people. It's like working a front desk. I used to love working the front desk, and so for me, this was where I felt most comfortable. The help desk. The thing I find, it's very fun to work the help desk. You meet lots of people and walk around with them, but it's difficult to work the help desk if you don't know the area. So one of the things I would recommend is just get on Google Maps and know some basics about the area and ask questions. Maybe you arrive to your shift 30 minutes early and ask questions of people who are local. They do hire people who are local to work some of these other areas. You're going to have to know how to answer these. Know the names of rooms. Know exactly where in the book. Like if someone says, where's the green technology education session, you need to know what page to open to. You can't take 6-7 minutes with every single individual being as clueless as they are. So it's a little bit difficult if you're not prepared. The next one is attending the physical classes. I'm not sure what they have you doing with that this year. I know in the past I've been asked to write summaries when I've attended the classes. Is that the same? Do you know, Daly?
Yes, it is going to be the same. We're going to do the same old with the summaries. We do use that in some of our reviews, but we're also open to having the students take really good notes and possibly guest blogging following HITEC. We really want to have the students do some guest blogging, depending on the quality of the notes and how things go.
Great. That would be fun. And stay on here for a second, Daly. The welcome reception, are they going to be scanning tickets? And then once the tickets are scanned, they go inside?
Yes, that is exactly what we'll be doing.
All right. So they're going to have it is a lot of fun. This is also one of the most fun things you'll do. This is the registration for me. So they're going to have a lot more people than they need, which is a good thing. It's just a smart way to schedule. Standing at the very front so that when that original influx of people, so if the event starts at 6, 6:30, you're going to have lots of people come right then. So they're going to need 10 students there, 10 of you scanning badges to ensure that the right people are inside. But they're very quickly, by 7, everyone's inside. So they're only going to need 2 or 3 people there. So they're going to cut you. And when you're cut, you get to go inside. And that's some of the pictures I showed you. These are really fantastic affairs, and they go all out. These are very expensive. I think the tickets just to attend are $100, $120, and you're not paying for that. So you're getting it pretty good here at the welcome reception. Professionalism. So what does it mean to be professional? You have to look the part, speak the part, and be the part when you think no one's looking. One little mishap, and that can stick with you. The first one is looking the part. That's easy. You just dress appropriately. You know, you don't show up with bright green hair or something like that. You know, I know you're a student. They know you're a student, but you want to be the best possible. You want to put on that front. Speaking the part is a lot more difficult. In all my experience, the #1 way to connect with these professionals is through terminology. All of you are in school for exactly this topic. All of you know RevPAR, ADR, occupancy, supply demand. You should know what a bar rate is. You know what rack rate is. You can connect with people by using the right terminology. And if you're using all that terminology, they're going to be impressed. All it takes is that 30 seconds, the first 30 seconds you meet someone, they'll make their mind up about you. So be smart in that first 30 seconds. And terminology is the easiest way to do that, industry terminology. And then the part when no one's looking. You know, you don't try to sneak that extra drink. You don't try to put a bunch of food into your purse. Yes, I've seen that as well. If you're going home with 15 crab cake snacks in your purse, that's a really bad idea. Somebody will see that you're doing that. Then remember, the goal is to impress others, not yourself. And I see a lot of students when I talk to them, they tell me, yeah, but I thought my shirt looked great, or I thought I was being professional, or I was connecting with them. No, it's not what you think. It's what the other person thinks. Know your audience, and your audience is 40 to 60 years old, and they are conservative. They're conservative in their dress, they're conservative in their hairstyle, that sort of thing. So that's what you're trying to be. All right, so looking the part. The next one, mannerisms. So biting your fingers, turning back. You don't want to turn your back to someone. Eating. Eating is a really big one that can make you stand out, so I'm going to go through that a little bit. The way you stand or sit, slouching, the way you cross your legs, these are all things that will make you stand out if you're not doing them properly. Do not sit and stand with other students. You will have many opportunities to network with the other students. I really hope that you guys on that first night you're there all go out as one big group. One of the best things you can do for yourself is to start a Facebook page immediately, all get to know each other. That first night you're there, all go out together, and in that way you're all going to know each other. Remember, you're able to network with each other. 10 years from now, 15 years from now, your network will be the people you meet at HITEC. You're going to spend the next 3 to 5 days with these people, working side by side with them, sharing a similar, unique experience. And I can tell you right now, someone like Katie that I just showed you, or this girl Selena, it was her birthday yesterday, so I talked to her. These are people I met like 10 years ago at a HITEC and am staying in touch with. But there are 2 or 3 years out there from HITEC where I don't know one person I worked with. I'm 0 for 20. And it's because those people just went back to their hotel rooms, or they had their own things, or they just went to Disney for the day and said, forget it, I'm not going to bother with HITEC for the day. You're not there for Disney. You're not there for the Angels game. You're there for HITEC. Here's some things you shouldn't do. Here's another thing you shouldn't do. I've seen this before. Austin, in particular. His name was Austin, and it took place in Austin. And we had a student who passed out and just was in front of the hotel. These are the things you don't want anyone to see you do. So etiquette, a code of behavior that delineates expectations for social behavior according to contemporary conventional norms within a society, social class, or group. So first off, you're in the United States. Most of you are in schools from the United States, but some of you are not. There are some things that are unique to culture within the United States. And all the attendees, the vast majority of them, are going to be from the United States. So we have to kind of try to fit in. Me being from Canada, there are going to be some social norms that are a little bit different. I've already learned, like politics, very different. The jokes that we can tell about politics in Canada are very different than the jokes I can tell about politics in the United States. Being from Toronto, I'm going to stick to Rob Ford jokes. Everyone seems to love Rob Ford jokes right now, no matter what side of the aisle you're on. Or just don't talk about politics at all would be the smartest thing. Tipping. 15% is the norm in the U.S. If you happen to smoke, my recommendation is don't let anyone ever see you smoke for this entire 3 to 5 days. Smoking, whether you like it or not, it's looked down upon. All the research says that the perception of someone who smokes is negative. So to make a positive perception, don't smoke. Cell phone use. The cell phone use that is appropriate for people who are age 40 to 50 is to make phone calls. That's really all they use it for. You most likely have an entire life online that those people that you're trying to impress don't even remotely understand. And so when you are at any of these events or functions, I would say just put your phone in your pocket and don't even turn it on. You can just turn it off or leave it on and turn off data. Just some way so that you don't try to sneak it. Because even the most professional students, when I'm having dinner with them, they do try to sneak a look at their phone. And you know what? We're not as sneaky as we seem to think we are. Because when your eyes are down for 15 to 20 seconds and then you start typing, the sneakiness goes away and everyone knows what you're doing. So really, think about the cell phone use. It doesn't matter if you think it's appropriate or not. Think about that 50-year-old individual sitting across from you that you're trying to impress. Is it acceptable to them? Personal space, first names, sir, madam, it is acceptable. It's more acceptable to use a first name than a last name. One of the things I've had trouble with for students from certain areas and regions is they come here and they want to use my last name. They want to call me Dr. Tyone. But that's not me. I want to be called Justin. Especially from the southern United States, we are on a first name basis with almost everyone. That's what we do. So when you get here, remember, first names are acceptable. That is the cultural norm. Personal space, sir or madam, no means no. There is drinking involved in some of these things. Last year in Minnesota, all 3 students that I took to Minnesota for HITEC were female. And as I quickly learned, when you walk into a bar with an all-you-can-drink, and there are a bunch of 40 to 50-year-old men at the bar seeing a bunch of 20-year-old girls walk in, things can get very uncomfortable for them. And, you know, if you have to, I've never had to say no to men hitting on me, but if you are in that situation, no means no, and you can ask for help. I was so embarrassed for a lot of gentlemen at that Samsung party last year over having my 3 students with me. It got pretty bad. So you never know, and just watch out and stay in a group, and just know that no means no, and these are people, we're all here to help. Controversial topics to avoid. Some things in some areas of the world are so acceptable that I don't even think we think about it anymore. I did my PhD at Texas A&M, and it's the most conservative school you could possibly imagine. Certainly it wins awards for being the most conservative public. Then I came to Canada's most liberal university, and some things are so different here that I can't even begin to explain them. Explaining them might be unacceptable. But one of them, homosexuality, sex in general, you just don't talk about. Some of us are from areas where that's just the norm, and some of us are from areas where I've actually seen beer bottles thrown at someone for being gay in College Station before. So just know that they might harbor ill feelings or positive feelings on these, and you don't need to talk about them in any way. Discussions of wealth and money, we don't do that at all here. I know I was in Korea last summer, and I would meet someone for the first time, and their first question was always, how old are you? That's not an appropriate question. And then the second question was, how much money do you make? I felt very awkward when, like, the 10th person in my first 3 days there asked me, how much money do you make? It's an awkward question, and we don't ask it in the United States. Politics, religion, racism, abortion, government criticism, and patriotism. You're in California. You do not question anyone's patriotism. Etiquette. So hygiene. And, you know, I can only remember one individual out of the more than 100 that I've met at these things where they had a hygiene problem. But don't be that individual. Don't spit. No public urination. No chewing with mouth open. Picking your nose, flatulence. We do want you to bathe, shave, wash hands, and please use deodorant. You think right now in your head, you are thinking, wow, I can't believe he thinks he has to tell us that. But there have been individuals in the past who had to be told some of these things. Do bring a toothbrush. That's an important thing also. Public transportation. You will likely be using public transportation while there. There are bus stops all over downtown, and they're going to bring you to the areas you want to visit. You never know who's on these buses. And believe me, with 9,000 attendees at HITEC, you will be on a bus with other people from HFTP, from HITEC, and you want to leave that positive perception. Therefore, anytime someone who's elderly gets on, you have to be the first person to jump up. Same goes for disabled, same goes for pregnant. Men stand for women, or do what I do. I just basically, anytime I get on those, I stand. Doesn't matter where you stand on the whole masculinity, feminist continuum, none of that matters, because your opinion isn't what we're trying to impress here. We're not trying to impress you. We're trying to impress 40 to 60-year-olds who are very conservative, and this is how they feel about it. No eating, drinking, or cell phone use when you're on public transportation. You will see other people doing it. It doesn't mean you need to do it. Cell phone use is really a hot topic. Talking to the Toronto members here within HFTP, not that my students do it, but we talk a lot about Gen X, Gen Y, baby boomers, that sort of thing. And cell phone use seems to be one of the hottest topics that's most offensive to these people. So I really hope you choose to put your cell phone away. Eating. No slurping. Chew with your mouth closed. The utensil does not touch your teeth. You do not eat until everyone at the table has their plates. The oldest female at the table should eat first and be served first. None of you on this call will likely be the oldest female at the table. Therefore, that's not you. And then when finished with the meal, that is how you place your knife and fork. I always remember it as you can't face the knife towards anyone else at the table, because in France, when they were designing, all of the etiquette that goes into our eating, you didn't want to face a knife towards anyone else in the 14 and 1500s because they were afraid you would stab them. But you want the fork in front of the knife so that they can't pick up your knife and stab you. They would have to go through the fork. That's just, for whatever reason, how I was taught to remember it, and it seems to work for me. This is what your station may look like. Top right, that's what you drink from. Top left, that's your bread plate. I can't tell you how many times people take my water glass or people take my bread plate. Bread is on the left, water's on the right. Well, all drinks are on the right. So I'm going to take you through networking, because the number one thing that you should take away from HITEC is networking. So imagine you're the little yellow smiley face. These are all the people you'll be meeting at HITEC. These are the people you meet at HITEC will know. You are building your network. So my hope would be that all of you add each other on Facebook before you even get out there. Because once you're there, you're all going to get to know each other quickly and add each other anyway. So you may as well get a head start. The next thing you need to do is add each other on LinkedIn. That's the other big network you should be adding each other on. And then you'll be able to see everyone else's network. You will, in the future, rely on these networks. The new director of IT for Fairmont International, he graduated from Lausanne. I met him at HITEC 7 or 8 years ago, and I was just talking to him last week, and he now lives in Toronto. And these are the kinds of small world things that now he's living right next to me. He's in my backyard. And because we know each other, we can help each other. If we had lost touch, or if we hadn't gotten to know each other, if he had not been outgoing like I am, it would be a very different story. Networking defined. Most people say they know what it is, but they don't necessarily know what it is. They can see it. But the definition, the informal process of linking people to each other as resources. Every single person you meet is a potential network. The way I like to think about it is there's, 7 billion people in the world, and you're going to meet very few of them. Therefore, every single person you meet is now your network. Whether or not you are in their network, that's up to you. You have to build that network. So we network for 2 reasons. We want people to owe us, like us, and speak well about us, and we have unfulfilled needs. All of you will need a job. I hope you all plan on graduating. And sometimes you're going to need to hire. There was a time when I was networking because I was looking for a job. I no longer network for that reason. Now I network to get students jobs, or at least make students connections. Nearly every day of my life, I am connecting 2 people, a student and a professional. And I've worked very hard to build that network, and I continue to work hard for that. I want you all to have your own network so you can do the same thing in the future and get jobs. Who to network with? Competitors or non-competitive people? Like-minded and not so like-minded? Professional associations, referral partners, business contacts, spheres, social contacts. I'm pretty sure through all of those, I've mentioned every individual in the world that you could possibly ever meet. So here's the tips. Positive attitude, set objectives, and plan. One of the problems you'll have if you don't set an objective before you walk into a room is you'll end up sitting at a table with 10 other students and never meet anyone. So my recommendation is that with every single event you attend, you write down in your head, or write it on paper or put in your head, I will meet a minimum of 3 people and we will exchange business cards. That way you know that by the end of this entire thing, you'll have met at least 25 or 30 people. By the time you leave HITEC, you will have their business cards. That's called planning and setting objectives. Next, be sincere. You don't go up to them with a resume and just hand it over. You're not there to do that. You're there to get to know them. You don't want anything at all from them right now other than to get to know them. Know what you want to say. You're not doing a sales pitch, but if they ask you about yourself, you should be able to, in just a few seconds, say what it is about yourself. You don't want to stumble over words. You will, in approximately 30 seconds, everything that individual needs to know about you, they will formulate an opinion about you. And all it takes is 30 seconds. So you have to be prepared for the first 30 seconds of any conversation without stumbling on words, without embarrassing yourself, without making a bad comment. So practice it. Networking really is something that takes practice. You can't just show up and think you're going to begin doing it perfectly immediately. You're going to get more and more comfortable as the event goes on. And hopefully by the end of HITEC, you have no problem walking up to any professional and just speaking to them. Remember, they are all there to network just like you are. And you are a valuable commodity. You are somebody who is dedicated your life at a very young age to the hospitality industry. And you've gone out of your way and you've been chosen by your school to represent your school at HITEC. You are valuable. Don't think they don't want to get to know you. A lot of them there want to get to know you. Be a good listener. Think about it as an 80-20 rule. Research has shown that during an interview, with the average interview in the hospitality industry being up to 15 minutes long, if the interviewer does 55% of the speaking or more, then you have an 80% chance of being hired. If you do more than 55% of the interview, if you're speaking more than 55% of the interview, you have a 20% chance of getting hired. That is what the research shows. That's the 80-20 thing. So listen as much as possible and don't have to talk. You will not have to speak. Just listen to what they have to say. When they start talking about their kid loves baseball, ask follow-up questions about their kid and baseball. There's something within sociology that if a person is speaking to you and they just tell you everything about themselves, they will feel a connection. In your mind, if you know everything about them and they haven't asked you any questions, you're going to think that you're not connected to them. But it's far more important that they think they're connected to you than you think you're connected to them. Thank people. So anytime anyone does anything for you, you just say thank you. It's very simple to do. Offer help. Be a referral source for others. So one of the things that students can do is when you get to know each other, which you should all do before you get there even, you should know what each other's interests are, where you want to work kind of thing. Once you get to know each other a little bit, if one person is speaking to someone from South Carolina and another person you already know really wants to work in South Carolina, you can say, this is my friend from San Jose State University, and Betty would really like to work in South Carolina. Let me introduce you. You can do it right there at these events. And practice, practice, practice. You will likely embarrass yourself trying to network if you haven't put any thought into it. But there's nothing wrong with going there and embarrassing yourself a little bit. The great part is you're a student at a university, and they're not expecting you to know everything there is to know about the hospitality industry. So just go there, meet people, have fun. So here's what you need to do at the events. Always arrive early. You only have a few days at HITEC to impress and meet. All right? Arrive early for every single event. Research shows that the best opportunities for networking are in the first 30 minutes. If you're the first one there, you can actually begin to, you're going to act as a host. So one of the things I do try to do whenever I bring students to an HFTP event, we arrive early. I want to be the first ones there. So when the first industry professional walks in the room, there's 10 students, one industry professional, and he or she, the professional, will begin speaking to the students. It's an automatic, you're already in, because they're not going to go sit alone in a corner. Dress appropriately. You want to be the best dressed, conservatively dressed person in the room. Be the host. So take advantage of no-host events. Obviously, HITEC isn't going to have a whole lot of no-host events, but you can almost make it one. If Samsung has a party that starts at 8, don't be the person who is fashionably late and shows up at 9. That's not cool. The good kind of showing up is 7:30, 7:15. Manage your time. Plan how to meet people and how to move. Don't sit there just talking to one individual. You do want to meet a lot of different people. And another thing research shows is that if you are just meeting someone for the first time and then you spend an inordinate amount of time speaking to them, which is the inordinate amount of time, I don't remember what that is, they will have a less of opinion of you. Because now they've spoken to you for a full hour, maybe an hour and a half at one event. You haven't gone around, you haven't talked to people. The first impression may have been good, but now you've basically put everything out there. They've put everything out there. You kind of know each other. You missed out on a bunch of opportunities, and you didn't necessarily leave the best opinion because it's not like they're having a great time or whatever. I mean, hour and a half is a lot of time to spend with one person. So keep on the move. Get to know people, 5 minutes, move on. And when someone's speaking to you, you look them in the eyes and give them your undivided attention, not at your phone. Never, ever, ever at your phone. There's the thing. Work the room. So that's part of managing your time. And then this is almost a funny one, but it really does work. Stand by the food. People go get food by themselves. Rarely will you find someone go get food with a big group. They might go with 1 or 2 other people, but they're not going in big groups. So you're going to find a bunch of people alone, and that is a great time to network. While they're getting food, you can talk to them. It's only going to be for 1 or 2 minutes, and then they're going to walk away, and that's great. You've now networked with someone, and they know who you are. Networking event is almost everything, but there it is. So no matter what you do at HITEC, it's a networking event. What in the world is that? All right. Hopefully you didn't all hear that. That's a horrible song. All right, here we go. This is what you need to bring. Your business card from vistaprint.com. That's the one I like the most for students because it's really cheap. We're talking like $5 for 200 cards. So once you have a business card and it's professional and you're able to hand it out, now you want business cards from other people. You're always exchanging. If they give you a business card, you give them a business card. Have a pen handy. When you have a pen, you're going to immediately, when that person walks away, don't do it when they hand you the card. Wait until they're gone, and then you're going to write a few facts about them on the back. I have a binder here in my office with probably 1,000 business cards in it. I have it alphabetized by company name, because if you try to alphabetize it by first or last name, it doesn't help you as much. But if I need to talk to somebody from, HVS, I want to turn to HVS in my binder. I've got 15 cards from different HVS people over the years, and I'll have it all there. And on the back of that card, I will have 3-4 facts written about them. So I'll be able to say, by the way, how are your children, Matilda and Jerry? And then I can start the rest of the call, the rest of whatever I need from them. That it continues that contact. It's a great way to network. Name badge. Nothing wrong with reading the name badge. Sometimes I've seen people feel weird about reading my name badge. I want you to read my name badge. It's great that you care about what my name is and where I work. I've never seen anyone get offended that somebody's reading their name badge. So, when you meet someone, you can just say, oh, where do you work? And look down. You can point to their name badge. Make sure you see it. It's a great way to get information. Brochures. You're going to be handed a lot of brochures. Every time somebody registers, you're going to have a bag there full of brochures to hand them. So you take that back your very first night. You're going to take back the little book and the brochures that are in those bags because you're the one stuffing all of the bags anyway on that first day. And you're going to look at that, and you're going to read a bunch of it, and you're going to memorize the ones that interest you. That way, when you're on the exhibition floor, you'll know about the person or the company before you even get there. Use the knowledge to impress. And then there's memory hooks. I am really, really bad at remembering people's names through memory hooks. For me, I put a face and a picture to their name, and then I memorize it. So what I would do if I really needed to memorize a bunch of people's names is I would have a book or whatever, like a yearbook kind of thing, and I've got their name on their picture with it, and I just go through and memorize. One here that I have, like my last name, I have a memory hook because I want people to remember my name. So when they say, oh, how do you pronounce your last name? I say, tie like the tie you wear, own like you own the tie. People seem to remember my name that way. After the event, you want to write notes as soon as you get back to your room. You're going to write it on the back of the business cards. And if there's any other notes, you're going to write those as well. If somebody said, write me an email, this isn't like trying to pick a girl up in a bar. You don't need to wait 48 hours to try to impress them. You can write them that note right away. Stay in contact. The best networkers that I know are people who write me an email once a year, no matter what. Even if I haven't seen them in 10 years, they'll write me that email once a year and check up. Historically in the United States, that's what Christmas cards were used for. I've kind of learned that over time. That's how people stay in touch. But the meaning of Christmas and using Christmas cards has really changed. So now email seems to be the new way to go. Remember your promises, and this has to be ongoing. Set goals, number per week, whatever. I couldn't care less if somebody sends me an email or a handwritten card. For me, it just doesn't matter. And I really don't think it matters for the students I've met. It doesn't matter for any of my friends. This day and age, I think people understand that electronics and technology are the way to go. But we're not dealing with that. We're trying to impress 40 to 60-year-olds who are really conservative. They, according to everything I've read, really like handwritten notes. So perhaps leave a handwritten note for them. Maybe when you get back, a couple months after you get back, you send out 20 or 30 handwritten notes. Make appointments, critique yourself, and reward yourself. If you do a good job, you should have written down, like if I meet 20 people and get their business cards and feel I networked appropriately with them by the end of HITEC, I will, and then, give yourself something. You will go to Disney, whatever it is. So good networking, it's an attitude, it takes work, it does not happen overnight. It's a back and forth. There is a payoff at the end. You have a network. It's a process, it's reciprocated, and it never ends. It goes on forever. I just wanted to show a couple people I met through HITEC in the past. So that's Steve Kerr down there at the left. And I was very young in that picture. That must be 2002, 2003. But Steve Kerr, so they put a lot of money into these things. Those companies, they're selling products that are $50,000. Some of them are probably $100,000 in product. And they're willing to pay a lot of money to get celebrities to show up. So Steve Kerr was one of the celebrities that was working HITEC. He was a professional basketball player, won 3 NBA championships. He now is the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, and I got my picture taken with him. I also got to ride a Segway, and there on the bottom right, I'm meeting Isidore Sharp. He was not impressed with me like I was with him. He didn't even stand up to shake my hand, but I got to meet Isidore Sharp. He was the founder and owner, only 4% now, of 4 Seasons. You never know who you're going to be able to meet. It's network, not net sit, net eat. Departure, travel arrangements. So there's the part I told you about earlier. You don't know, you may be able to get a free ride, share a ride, anything like that. So just make it at the end. Anybody at the front desk, concierge, your hotel can help you with this kind of thing. Staying in touch, every single one of you, I don't know how to make it any more clear. Every single person on this call, every student who didn't make this call but will be in HITEC, you have this network forever. But it's only going to be useful if you stay in touch with each other. And it's only going to be useful if you guys hang out together when you're there. You should be planning dinners together. The network is not only these 40 to 60-year-old conservative people that I keep mentioning. You're all going to network with each other. And I guarantee you guys are going to run into each other 10 years from now, 15 years from now. It's amazing how many students I've run into that I was a student worker and they were student workers, and I'm still in contact with them. It really is amazing. Another girl is just finishing her PhD at Florida, and she asked me to write her recommendation letters as she applies for professor jobs. 10 years ago, I never would have thought that Katerina would go on to get a PhD, or that I would. But here we are helping each other. And you just never know, so maintain that contact. Another thing, when I'm visiting someone's city, I let them know. My friends who are in Lausanne, I have students who go to Lausanne every year, and I let those friends of mine I met through HITEC know that the students are there. This past year, someone I met through HITEC actually took the 3 girls who went to Lausanne this year for a competition skiing. That's the kind of thing that, I was able to connect them with an industry professional that way. So here's, just some pretty pictures. That's another picture. That was probably the best group I ever had at a HITEC. We had an absolute blast. That was in Orlando, Florida. When I look through who all these people are and what they're doing now, I know you might not think of it by the funny faces they're making, but we have 2 general managers in there. We have one girl who's a VP with STR. We have one girl who's a vice president of HEB, a grocery store. We have a couple people in Fairmont. One is director of operations at the Fairmont in Kenya. The other one is director of technology. So these are all people. Every single person in this picture basically has done amazing things. And all of you will too. You were chosen by your school to go out to HITEC. All right, and well, we're done. And then here's the quiz that you have to take so that you can do everything you're supposed to when you get out to HITEC. So it's there. You can click on it, copy, paste it, whatever you want. So hopefully this was useful. I guess all of you have your mics turned off, but I would like to somehow take questions if any of you have any.
So what we can do is, so everybody won't talk over one another, let's have everyone submit their questions via instant message. And Justin or myself can answer those, mostly probably Justin since you did the awesome webinar. But if it is about the information coming out, rosters and hotel information for roommates and stuff, I'm going to send all that out immediately following the live webinar. So those kind of questions will all be taken care of. So does anybody have any questions to send via instant message?
Talkative group.
I know, you're all unmuted, so speak now or forever hold your peace. No questions?
We'll give them a little bit of time to type. Let's see what happens.
Okay. And while we're giving you guys some time to type, I'm just going to add a couple of quick things on there to what Justin said. And we are going to Los Angeles, and there is a history of having earthquakes there. So I would encourage everyone to keep clothes by the bed at night in your hotel. You never know when an alarm is going to go off, and you want to be wearing the appropriate things if you're locked out of your room. And something else that I will send out more detail in the email. We'll have everyone arriving on time. And on time doesn't mean that you, like Justin mentioned, you arrive right at that scheduled time. Probably give yourself, you're changing shifts to someone 10 minutes or so to change shifts, so that way no one's waiting on you. And you never know what comes up and who you're going to see in the hallway. So I'll put that in the email as well. And we will have an on-site orientation for all the students, so where you get to meet all the staff, and they'll explain more of some of the work that you'll be doing as volunteers, and we'll go through a registration training, and we'll give you more instructions so you're kind of not walking blind. And the Saturday, Justin suggested everyone get together to meet each other. Sorry. We are having a student reception, and it is included in the online survey. So I agree with Justin. Everyone should say yes to coming to Lucky Strike. It's going to be awesome. It's probably going to be the best student reception we've ever had. And for that, it is casual dress. So Saturday and Sunday are the only days that casual dress will be permitted for the student HITEC volunteers. And when we say that, you should wear casual dress. You're going to be bowling Saturday night. We're going to have a great time. And I challenge all of you to beat me in bowling. It won't be hard. And also, Sunday, when we do the bag stuffing, you'll want comfortable clothes. So I would suggest, tennis shoes, t-shirts. You're going to be moving some heavy stuff, and you're going to get dirty, and you don't want to ruin any of your clothes that you brought for business professional. So, again, that's pretty much just a couple quick things that I wanted to add to that. But let's see. I didn't see any other questions. Okay, quick question from Mary. Will a student be assigned to only one volunteer shift per day or multiple ones? Mary and all the students, there will be multiple shifts. You'll do various things. You'll do different educational sessions, different shifts at the help desk, the registration desk, and I would expect for you to expect to do anywhere from 2 to 3 different assignments each day. But you will have plenty of free time to go and visit the expo and attend any other educational sessions that you have. So, were there any other questions? And do you plan to attend? Okay, I don't know if this is a question, but it asked about the survey for the Lucky Strike reception. Everybody should attend, and it's on Saturday. It will be included in your final volunteer reception of the volunteer assignments, including the address. Please pay close attention to the addresses that are provided to you on your itinerary. I don't want to lose anybody because they thought that the assignments were in the wrong location. So the addresses and locations will be provided to you in your itinerary that I'll provide, and I'll get it to you guys no later than June 13th. So, and like everything else is just everybody networking and telling Justin that he's awesome, and he is. Thank you so much, Justin. He's got his contact information. And if you miss his contact information in the instant message, feel free to email me, and I can forward you on to Justin if you have any other questions about networking and some of the experiences that he had, and we'll get you guys connected. So, yeah, I guess we'll just wrap things up and say thank you again, guys. I know it took some time out of your day, and we're really excited to have you come volunteer. I'm looking forward to working with you, and it's going to be a great time, and brush up on your bowling skills until I see you guys.
Yeah. Have a great time out there, guys. Make the most of it.
Thank you. You too.
Oh.
All right. Well, talk to you soon, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
All righty.
Thank you.